Hey, good morning, everyone. Very nice Stravos, if I'm saying that correctly. All right, so yesterday was titled Calm Before the Storm. Man, could it have gotten any calmer yesterday? Points where it seemed like the market was closed. There's sidelines chopping back and forth between tight areas of support and resistance. What we call a frog in a blender pattern. You just think it's going to go one way, and it stops, it goes the other way, and the computers are bouncing back and forth off of the swings on a 2 or 5 minute. So today's moving down. Part of what we've been looking for here was the middle of the month to make a high. And so we're pretty much maybe, the beginning of the week was the middle of the month. And so the other concept was going sideways for a little while. And so this isn't much of sideways, but, there is a little bit of that sideways price action there, where these bars are overlapping each other. And now, where are they? They're gapping down below most of them. Dan, your internet must be very slow, or possibly you're in YouTube, which is delayed. I'm showing the spiders, I think. Oh no, shoot, I picked, you're right. I picked TC2000 instead of eSignal. My bad. That's what I usually show in the green room, since I use it for scanning, and eSignal opens up on my other trading computer. So there you go. There's what I was talking about there. So there's the sideways price action in the middle of the month, and now prices are gapping below that area. And so now that we've got that sideways price action there, that consolidation, we now view that as being supply, because buyers that were buying after the multiple days up, and the media was saying, oh, 5 days up in a row, yada, yada, yada. And so one of the concepts that I spoke about this week was, 5 days up in a row, right, give or take 4 or 5 here, whatever, coming out of a consolidation, beautiful. And then sideways price action at resistance. And now, the second move up, it's a pretty decent move. I wouldn't call it very extended. It's certainly not climactic. It's a little extended, but momentum slowed down from what it was. And so now gapping below this little area here, that becomes supply. And maybe we can go down here and test this 418-ish area, give or take. And there is an unfilled gap down here. It's options expiration. So there's going to be jiggles. Most of the time, it's not going to get out of hand. It's just going to be more whippy. So, all right, let me see where this is at. Below there. Let me look at the futures so we can get to SPX. At the bottom of this bar here. You see it's right on that pivot, give or take, and stabilize. Where's this one? Yeah. So 4,200 down below there. Remember, we talked about the wide range bar during the week as being looking for strikes under there, which was perfect. And SPX. SPX. So we look here, 42.19. Jacob's telling me 41.75 and 43.10. Yes, 41.75. Perfect. And we got this bar's low. We'll give or take this whole area right here at 4,200. These overlapping opens and closes there. Now, so it's got to travel. It's down here. To get down there, we got a line of defense. And I'm just looking at the option table on TC2000. I could open it up here, but just to look. 41.75. And now this is what's interesting. I know you see this, Jacob, but in the past, you didn't have such a big leap from one strike to another. So 41.75 is 70 by 80. You would think, okay, they would, well, what? Oh, I see what's going on here. They have weeklies. I don't like this with TC 2000. They have weeklies and monthlies together. But anyway, the weekly is 70 by 80, and the weekly at 41.70 is 55.65. So if you want a little extra, you can go down to 41.70 if you want a little extra protection there, since there is this unfilled gap area. But that's where you want to be, give or take, personal choice. And up above 43.10. Let me just go back and look at this again. Holding there. Bottom of the 15th, give or take. Bottom of, oh, okay. It doesn't look exactly the same because futures are a 24-hour chart. So let's put it down here. So the downside should be the better choice, even though it is gapping below here. So getting back above those two bars, it's options expiration. It isn't that far to travel. And, before, a more potent turn begins, I wouldn't be surprised to see it go up there. But to get to 43.10, probably unlikely. So, all right, let's look at the others. And so the Qs, and this may give me a little bit more confidence in that 43.10 to see where the Qs are gapping to, since they were the strength on the way up. So gapping down here, take, and supports down here. I suspect once it gets down there, it's going to bounce because just what's been going on. It comes down to the next support, there's going to be buyers there. So if it drops down there, give or take, it'll probably bounce back up. And so if it falls into the open, probably going to want to do that lower strike on SPX almost right away as it gets towards some support, as the premiums will pop up. Qs, this level right here. Okay, so what I'm looking at are these overlapping opens and closes, and then looking at the hourly chart to see the pivot, which you can see there at 13,301. Let's call it 300, give or take, right? So that should be a decent support level. And below there, Friday expiration, but below there, the proverbial poop hits the fan, as meaning momentum picks up down to 13,000. So I would, we'll see what happens, but I would think next week for something like that. All right. YM down a couple of 100 points, not a big deal. Breaking below these pivots. Next one is down here. So look, just even pulling back down here, other than the gaps on the ETFs, it's really not a big deal. So the thing is, it's Friday. So I want to see where this weekly bar ends. Does it end below the opening price? Does it end at the low? And then, of course, does it, as we look at any time frame, does it break a prior bar's low? So once the move started here in this time frame, while there was some pretty big jiggles, on this time frame, does it break a prior bar's low? No. Well, there's a narrow range bar. That could easily break a prior bar's low, does it? No. Well, here's a wide range bar, 100% retracement. Didn't break a prior bar's low. But greater than 100% retracement and a narrow range bar, slowing momentum, well, can it break a prior bar's low? Odds are increased exponentially for next week, which opens the door to some type of a pullback within this move up. Now, as time progresses and we get into, of course, September, the worst month of the year, and October, how far does it pull back into here? Theoretically, the depth of this retracement would suggest not coming all the way down there, but if it does get close to there, I think it's going to be a pretty good opportunity for longs. Russell, well, coming down to the pivots, pulling back, no biggie. Bitcoin. Now here's the fly in the ointment, right? This was the bearish fly in the ointment. The whole time that we've been talking during this rally is like Bitcoin's not moving, Bitcoin's not moving, and it gets this rejection here. And I've been like saying it enough is like if Bitcoin starts falling apart, starts heading down 20,000, the markets are they should, right? That's the theory as we look at these intermarket relationships as to what was, and this showing relative weakness. And now this gives it up. That's got to add some gas to the fire to the, the downside as this progresses. So crude oil, the oil stocks have been doing good. I've been talking about this bottoming out here. So the crude oil, the oil stocks have been showing relative strength. This was another thing. If it starts popping up, oh, inflation, inflation, inflation. But hey, Joe said there's no more inflation. Yeah. Silver pulling back. Of course, the dollar's going up. Gold pulling back. The euro's got to be going south. And so it seems like everything's lining up for bear mode. The 3-month moving up here. Right, the 5-month, 5-year. Taking out this pivot, coming up to the next level. And you're going to hear the bears coming out on CNBC. And hey, as it gets uglier, the all the ones that said keep your money in will soothe the calm. And so look, and this is one of the things that kept making me think, hey, this market can keep going. These institutions just didn't step up to the plate with buying calls. They increased that a bit yesterday. It only moved this moving average just to touch the band. But intraday yesterday, this doesn't really show, what happened intraday. If I put it on a 5-minute chart, which then just forget about the internal gauges there, like these here, but it was down. It was a little bit lower. That was earlier. Anyway, you can see down here, it picked up and down yesterday, got down. Yeah, see, it got down under 0.80. I noticed that yesterday, and it was like, all of a sudden they're buying more calls. We must be getting closer, and so now we get the gap down, and we'll just see where this goes today. So far, starting out the downside, we'll see if it stays down or pops up. So at some point, I suspect it'll get down to some level, and it will pop up again. We'll see how far it gets. Right. Is there a calendar to find out options expiration dates? Yeah, every third Friday, FER. And so you have monthlies, and you have quarterlies, and of course you have weeklies. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Turned it over early to me. All right, I hope the noise is okay. I'm actually on the beach, so you might hear a little ocean in the background. But can you hear me okay? I got my Yeti here. There's a dog's barking inside, and I got bad internet, so sorry about all that. All right, so hopefully this is our turn. We've been patiently waiting for it all week. We've been adding bear call credit spreads. Other than 2 oil put spreads, we have all bearish call spreads in the weekly options trader. I've been tightening spreads on them. I sent a bunch of alerts out, so check those out. I posted a couple of new ideas. So let's go through some earnings and some other things I'm looking at today. So Deere had earnings. This is what we call a bear island reversal. And this island is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 bars of resistance. Now gapping under that. And so that's a call spread candidate. Foot Locker here is very different pattern. This is this is grinding into earnings, and it's a huge gap up, gapping up to $40. So 8 divided by 32 is pretty darn big. Now, so I still want to do a 0 DTE call spread on this, provided it sets up. And that's why, just so I don't rush into things, I say 30-minute low. And then we can monitor them and send out a telegram and change our entry. Spiders also here. I know Greg's talking about a 0 DTE put spread, which I totally get. But for a call spread, if this takes out the 30-minute low, then I want to sell a call spread. You can go to Friday if you want, but there was some juice at Wednesday. And so that's what I posted, a Wednesday call spread. GE, we had posted as a call spread that triggered yesterday. And I do not know, I was out yesterday afternoon. I don't know if this bounce got us filled at the credit. Did anybody trade this one by chance? Because I don't obviously like posting things open if nobody got filled. So this, let me show you which one that is. So GE, this was the alert. I set a limit of 52 cents out of 60. Not filled. Okay, thanks, Rangan. But if you did take it for smaller credit or whatever the case, it looks fantastic. This is a pattern that Greg that we're looking for, like a range expansion bar into the FOMO people or whatever, and then get a shock with that bar getting traded under with a price would. So there's a number of these type of patterns. So if you're in it, it looks great. Looks like a day trade short also. Deer reported, so just automatically I look at the cousins. Cat is a cousin. It's a bearish gap down, but if for some reason this negates the gap and trades above yesterday's high, whether it's today, tomorrow, today, Monday or Tuesday, then we will give a bullish position on this, because look at the weekly at a bear sandwich. You got bullish consolidation at resistance. So if it negates the gap down, then looks fantastic. Cummings here is also like a third cousin. Strong uptrend. Wow, that was a beautiful entry right there that day, 727. Closing breakout, big bottoming pattern. Wow. But I don't see anything to do with it now. AXSM, monster gap. I don't know if this is earnings or otherwise. But daily, weekly, monthly, all look higher. Look at the monthly. Monthly, I see no problem with 60. It's an excessive gap, gapping up almost 25%. But let's keep an eye on that on a pullback. GCT, the IPO yesterday. I didn't know about this. That big gap up. BBBY, what a joke, I mean, it's these mean people. They deserve each other. High risk, high return, and you better get off that merry-go-round or musical chairs, or you're left with holding a bag. So we're so close to shorting $45 calls. Today's Friday, on Wednesday, right there at the high, so close. And now it's back down to $12. The GME major shareholder said he dumped all his shares. And so now you're gapping down. This is the opposite. This is a total opposite of a Buffett coming out or a hedge fund saying, oh, I've been accumulating the last 3 months, and then they gap it up. Well, this guy filed a report saying, I already dumped all my shares. So can somebody tell me fundamentally overnight why this thing gapped down you do the math, whatever percent this is, it's past tense. It's I mean, that's why I love what we do. It's human nature is crazy, but that's what we trade. We trade charts for some total reflection of that. And so I actually posted an alert saying, you know what? We were contrarians at the high, 30-minute high. The volatility is off the charts. Let's sell a zero DTE put on this bad boy. Based on the pre-market, I'd be looking at the tens. So if it holds the pre-market low and and takes out the high at 10 o'clock, I'll be selling a $10 put depending on the juice. Yeah, Bitcoin's down 8%. So obviously that's gonna, whack the related stocks out. Coin here. Coin reported some type of news. I don't know what, but I was actually looking at this yesterday as a call spread for today at 1 DTE, and there was no juice. But still looks lower. I think this could come deeper into the $70 range. W Whiskey, they're laying off some people. Now this is a bearish gap. Okay, $66 gapping under here, but this is on my core list because of the weekly monthly. So look, weekly bottoming pattern, Climo reversal and major support monthly. So I am interested in possibly on so yeah, I've given you a couple ideas already. This is another one, 5-minute high. I want to sell a 70 TE put on that if there's good bottom right. Ross had earnings. Also, it's not a Bear Island reversal, but I posted under Mr. David. You know the drill. Just let's go through the checklist, see what the juice is. Or more buybacks or higher dividends or whatever. But that was a bullish pre-market reversal, but no great pattern to me. Hood, we're actually in this. It's had a deep retracement here. It also had some type of news of accounts or whatever. We just got to sit through it. Michael Jackson, we're in. Retracing again, like always. This one, yeah, these are a couple open positions I put here. So we're short this. We're short OGN. We're short EXAS. I tightened the stop over this yesterday morning pivot. Square, we have a call spread. I tightened the stop. Roku call spread. Tighten the stop. Estee Lauder. This is on earnings yesterday, what we call a bear gap that bullies. We sold the way out of the money 250 puts. That had a bullish close. I can't tell where it's gapping. And then we added XOP. These are the only two bullish trades we have in the weekly XOP and EOG. Look at that. That is one beautiful closing breakout yesterday. So those were my only two new trades yesterday. I did both those. And they're gapping down a little with them, much better than the broader market. And so there's nothing to do. We just got to sit through it. Twilio, we have a nice open gain. And if the market starts falling apart, This is on my list for a short on the weekly. Nasty downtrend, topping tails, green bar ignored. Look, even the volume. Look at the volume were attempts to move higher and failed. So that thing's in trouble. Whatever. I don't even know what they do, to be honest with you. Twilio, I have no idea. All right, Juniper. Wow, nice close yesterday, Thomas. I see some prints down here, but it's not liquid. But that, hey, Ty, I don't know if you're here, Ty. But we were talking about 1, 2, 3s with Ty yesterday, and I said that many times I see a wide range bar like this, and I say that this would be a great 1, 2, 3 if it happens. I don't know what's going to happen today, but if we get a nice bullish inside bar here, now it's not the greatest void, but if we, it's a beautiful put spread candidate if there's any juice. Neo, we're also on this thing. It went against us a little bit. It's gapping down here, but we're just gonna play it out. This was an anticipatory, like almost poor trade, EV stock. We got our pullback reversal on the weekly. The whole sector was coming in. All right, these are earnings stocks, Glob. Now this is a pattern. I have no idea where it's going, and I don't see any prints on earnings, but it's like a bold rectangle flagpole. You can see on the weekly, it's bullish. But if it gaps down to 220, then it has a void. It's a call spread candidate. Bill, big old gap, $25. Gap's too big for me. AMAT was green this morning. Look, it was up $1 this morning. Now it's giving it up. Maybe they had a conference call or something. Coin we talked about, Maxon. 19. All right, market's open now, so that's why it's printing here. That's a bearish gap under green bar and engulfing on the weekly. That's a sell setup. Bottom right here, Rost. So I had that as a call spread candidate. It's not going to hit based on action right now. That's a nasty gap. Look at whoa, that's what we call a nasty 180 reversal. You got a topping tail and a range expansion reversal. That is a very ugly reversal on a weekly.